got to be the world's cheapest 69 Camaro LS swap turnkey that you could drive home.
Hey there, boys and girls of YouTube world. Today, the Theo dog and I are going to show you my newly acquired 1969 Camaro. So as you can tell, we're down here in Oklahoma. And our buddy Charlie over at OK Speed and Custom, he knew I was on the lookout for one of these things. He's kind of the expert.
Okay, what makes you the expert?
On Camaros that I know. So anyway, he said, I'm going to find you one. He found me this one. It's perfect for me. It's rough around the edges. It's already got an LS swap. It's not a bad attitude. It's got a bad attitude. It's not a Z28, not a 4-speed, not a DZ302. It's just rough around the edges. So I was going to drive it home, but we got an empty spot on the trailer, unless that one comes home with me.
Gotta talk to my negotiator.
If it's the same one I'm talking about, I think I got her in the bag. And if it's your wife, then I don't think it's a problem at all.
Should sell it all.
But anyway, well, we got it down here. Charlie's got a buddy that in Midwest City does some tuning, so we're gonna go in there and get it tuned and get her all dialed in, and then we're gonna take her back home. He sent us some pictures of it. It's got some terrible seat covers. It's got a uber terrible shifter. It's got a computer laying on the center console or where it would be.
Center console.
So we're gonna
where you want to dump your soda.
We're gonna whip one out of cardboard real quick down here with Puddin's cardboard fabrication. It's got white letters out on rallies. There may be some 8.5-inch 5-on-5.5 Ford slots in the trunk and the back seat.
I got a ratchet strap.
Oh no. We're peasants down here. It's just gonna have a regular bungee cord. But yeah, it needs a little bit of finishing up. I'm not gonna do paint. We're not gonna do body. We're just gonna drive it. Beat the crap out of it. Yeah. And that's why I didn't want a nice one, so I can take my dog with.
You don't feel bad.
So I can drive up and down gravel, so I can haul big old mud truck tires in it.
When someone throws a rock and it knocks part of your body filler off, you don't cry at night.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, right, Theo?
He's
wound this morning. He had the zoomies.
Yeah.
Did somebody
first thing in the morning he gets fired up.
Did somebody leave the water on in the pool all night?
Perhaps.
I looked out my window out of my suite this morning and I was like,
that name's
weird.
An infinity pool.
Yeah.
Around. No. And I forgot the water again. I do that at least once a month.
You need a pool boy.
God bless. I'm a terrible one.
I can already see we got some electrical fixed. The old generator light's been on for who knows how long. All the gauges are in this Joy Car display up here. Oh, that's what it was. I had the key turned too far back. Oh, it's because I'm an idiot. The shifter's got a Spicer shift knob. It's a B&M ratcheting something or other, and it needs adjusting and thrown away. Looks like we're missing our knobs for our HVAC switches. Oh yeah, the fuel gauge does work. Steering wheel looks like it should be on a go-kart. Seats look like they should be in a truck. He does have a new headliner. Yeah, it needs a few things. Uh-oh. Got to cycle the key for the old LS to start. There we go. You gotta love fuel injection in LS's. Puddin said it does leave a mark on his floor, so usually LS's are great for sealing up, but apparently this one's got a leak. Yeah, see, that should be reversed. Yeah, not good. I don't know why people pay money for terrible shifters when they got a shifter on the column. This was originally a 250 6-cylinder in a Power Glide car, column shift, so all they would have had to do was hook up a cable or buy a low car like $80 or $100 kit from the steering column down to the 4L60E, and then we wouldn't have this terrible B&M. That's neutral. There we go. I love the PTO knob for a shift handle. Real classy. It's better than an ugly Hurst T handle though. We're gonna get these tires unloaded on my trailer, and then we're gonna grab some 275 60s on Steelies off a Reggie. Let's see if we can't fit those on the back. See if we got
have clearance, Clarence.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
This is what I'm talking about right here. We're in drive. Brakes work good. I think you're supposed to pull up, but I can't get it into neutral. There we go. You just gotta have the magic touch. There we go. Now we're backing up. Park. Good boy. There's the ECU I was talking about. I think it's just a factory harness that's modified for this application, which is fine, but I don't like the computer hanging out right there. I don't think anybody does. You put a new dash pad in it, new carpet. He added power steering. It was a non-power steering car. I got disc brakes to go with it and put on it. Currently it's just manual drums up front. And then it's got a 275 open rear, so we might have to put a 9-inch posi or something in there. 12 volts are expensive and overrated. And it's not a numbers car, so she's probably gonna get a 9-inch. First thing we're gonna do is see if these 275/60s will fit under there. It's a 245/60 Cooper Cobra at the moment. There's a little dirt in there. He's already been doing Dukes of Hazzard things with this thing. Looks like we got fresh shocks though. Mono leaf, 6-cylinder car. Wooden doesn't think they're gonna fit. Well, he said the other ones were pretty big on them. I think he's right. Uh-oh. Maybe. She'll fit, but I don't think we're gonna be able to hit any bumps. So I think those are a 245/60 on a 15x7. This is a 275/60 on a 15x8. So we got an inch wider rim, so that might be the issue. Well, if we just cut out this rusty wheel well, she'd be fine. There's an inch on the inside.
You're gonna need it if you're gonna run the big dogs. Got the damn, did you see the Cobra?
You see the Cobra?
All right, let's try some rallies. Sounds like that dance they were doing at the Rock.
Whoa! These ain't gonna fit, but I'm curious to see.
You smell gas?
Nope.
I got one of them fancy fender rollers now.
Just itching for someone to put it together so we can use it.
Oh, another one of them deals. Somebody sent it to you.
No, I bought it.
I bought it with my own monies.
Crunch.
I got it all just falling out. Nope, ain't gonna do it.
I mean, Robin's racing. She is a race car.
And Robin's son is racing.
We just need the wide body kit.
Now you look on the inside.
Huh, don't look any worse than the other one. Maybe a little bit closer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked like it was clearing to me. I mean, that lip's gonna fall off there eventually no matter what, so.
We just cut it off.
We can expedite the process, or we can let Mother Nature continue to customize. What was that there, I wonder? But there's a, well, it's there too.
Yeah, like they did some old repairs and they held up better than the, I don't know, there's a bunch of that.
Maybe they were just stenciling, a little art project.
Yeah, it's like patch quilt work with a car.
You got the Da Vinci of rat rod Camaros.
Just because I haven't painted as many cars as you.
I painted many a car.
I build the car.
After I bought my groceries. I got groceries gas one time, didn't even complain.
I don't want to hear you complaining about gas prices.
Oh.
Such a good car, Charlie. Thanks.
Oh. Well, I don't know what I would have done all that, but.
Well. Oh, fiberglass. It's a race car.
There's fiberglass at the top.
This guy is gonna not even let us drive it on the dyno. He's be like, all that crap's gonna fly out when it shifts. Yeah, that's fiberglass. It's got fiberglass wheel tubs in it.
Race car. The that old wide mama right there may fit now though.
Is that what you guys do body work down here in Oklahoma with? Is fiberglass? Oh no, I didn't want that one to come off.
It's weird. The more you pull, the worse it gets.
This is so bad. Well, I guess I can legitly tag it. Worst 69 Camaro. World's worst 69 Camaro, Charlie, just for you. But look at all that room now.
Just for you.
So much room for activities.
So much aerobics in here. So many activities.
I'm pretty sure Charlie don't give a damn if you've got the world's worst or not.
Because it's not his.
Yeah. He's not going to be throwing metal flakes all the way to North Dakota. Mm-hmm. Oh, are you one of them custodial engineers?
Well, I don't know what I am, but this square bolt here holding your broom needs to be tightened up.
Who do you think gave that to me?
Jimmy Warner.
Damn right. Where do you think you got it from?
We can't talk about
Yeah.
that on the video.
He works at the jail now. He'll have to just check himself in if he talks about it. Well, it's pretty fat though. Is that what's on the wagon?
Yeah. Now watch, we'll get to the other side and there'll be like 3 inches of clearance. The rear end's not even centered in this thing.
That's what we're hoping for. Cooper
A
coat.
lot of gunshots around here on a Monday morning.
Those are bird cannons.
He moved into the neighborhood and got on the HOA and said, we will have no more birds. Get out of here, birds!
Yeah, fire up the air cannons. We want them to start at 5 a.m.
You got any of them spiky chrome lug nuts we could use?
No,
Fresh out.
I throw them in the scrap trailer.
I thought those were a mini truck thing. I don't want that falling out and wiping out my quarter panel.
And she looks pissed off from behind with that tire on there. I like it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You built many a car, ain't you?
Yeah, you don't need mini tubs. You just buy a rusty car and then just peel the Pot County bodywork out of it. Yeah, we might as well make a little clearance on this side too. Oh, the key is to just kind of crack it all loose in a few spots before you rip the whole thing right off like a Band-Aid. Oh, this side might be on better. Ourselves a cutting tool. Oh no, no, she's gonna go. Yeah, there we go. Fiberglass is for boats, not for cars. So you make clearance for your big tires on your $60,000 Camaro.
I can't believe you're working on turds like this when you could be working on a mini truck.
Just wait till I body swap this thing onto a
Lincoln Town
Blazer
car.
Yeah, Crown Vic swap it. I was gonna say a Blazer chassis, but surely somebody's done that before.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
We hope not.
Is that Bondo in the wheel wells? Oh, that's fiberglass. You can tell by the way it cracks. Just for the muscle car fault, they feel left out.
He could really be living the life.
I saw all the views that you pulled on your fire turd.
Was that tree bark?
It's not even cedar. Tech tip, don't send Oklahoma speed and car inspection to go check out your cars for you, because oh, it's so bad. I guess that's what we wanted, was bad. Oh yeah, all the clearance. Dang, she looks tougher than a $2 steak. Let's go get some caps and put on it. All right. I think we're gonna run it with the caps for now. We're gonna see if we can't pick up some green paint, color match them, and then put some maybe 15x7s or 6s up front.
That looks way more gooder.
Way better than rally wheels.
Not that I'm a fan of black steelies or white steelies or painted steelies.
1, 2.
You look over and your truck has them.
Yeah, right.
I've only been parked here 2 days.
I'd just be glad it's not on blocks. I think we're gonna head to Daylight Donuts and test them out, see if they rub. Get some breakfast, some coffee.
I'm gonna see if you want to test this out. About ready to go.
I think we need a couple more self-tappers holding that cab down.
Why don't you kick on that electric turbocharger via switch?
So I noticed there's a switch over here. You can barely see that it says off, and it's the tiniest switch ever. And I'm like, please don't be electric fans, which I knew it had.
Because finding the output from this computer,
I was gonna say it. we can have our.
we could quite literally duct tape the relay right there and send that. I'm pretty sure these just send out a negative output.
Yep.
That you just closes your coil.
Yeah.
So.
And you can have your tuner program it for to come on at 160 or
180.
Literally
whatever your heart desires. And it's just so easy to get to. It's probably this one here. Just run that over that switch.
No, it's this. Oh, the white one's for the tack, I think.
Oh, maybe it's these 3 that are taped together. What happens if we pull this one? That's a cute coffee you got. How come you went and got one and didn't get me one?
Is that the tire oven?
Yeah, it reminds me of the Model A.
That was more like a grrr. Your car was a
Sounds like Theo's bark. Spicer. Woo.
spicy.
We need to paint that green to match the top. Original equipment reproduction. Kind of ironic.
Cajun Pies acquired. Have you checked this thing out yet?
Pretty sweet, yeah.
It's faster than it should be for no more than it has. Dude, it gets after it. That's good. I was
Weird, this quarter panel's like falling off now. It's spraying rubber all over itself.
wonder where all that rubber went.
Bummer for that guy. You could see where it caught second and got the wheel speed up and then just singular tire.
I got a welder.
So we can watch the spider gears spit out?
Yeah.
I suppose I got to send that guy his license plates back, huh? This side still rubs.
Outside or inside? Outside.
Even after all of his very precise trimming.
No.
He grabbed it and ripped it by hand.
We had to do one more on the street in front of his. Yeah, that one.
He stopped at the stop sign and hopped out and ripped that off.
That's funny. How are the floor paint?
Well, Charlie said they were good, so I'm guessing they're shot.
They're not terrible.
It's got new carpet, so they're good.
Just meet in the middle. Charlie said they're good. You said they're shot. Slick said they're not terrible.
It's better than what I got going on in here.
Yeah, but that's structural.
That's true.
I gotta find a Nova now. I want to join the muscle car club with y'all.
Oh yeah, why didn't you drive that to work today? The fire turd.
Still apart.
You know how you fix that overheating?
Put a factory shroud and factory fan back on it.
Or an LS.
I got one sitting right beside it.
I found one. We're gonna have the patina muscle car gang.
Oh, it's got the same caps.
The same color as your top. And that fender. It's 98% rust free. That's better than this car. Brand new interior. New front end parts. May not be a bad deal. Most people won't like that because it's 12 different colors.
Just send Charlie to look at it.
I'd drive it because it's 12 different colors.
Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
If it truly is rust free. Whoops. Is that a shingle? Now she'll clear.
We're gonna show up to Charlie's dyno guy and he's gonna be like, I ain't putting that piece of crap on my dyno. Thing's gonna rattle apart.
This thing don't need a dyno anyhow. Hell, it runs too good.
Dang, that is a clean OBS. Shoo.
Someone who works there has good things.
Be a lot cooler if it was a second-gen Ford Taurus wagon.
He'll be across the street.
About 1 o'clock today, he'll be across the street. Dang, Slick. Did you catch the bug to work on a Volkswagen?
Did you polish the trim? It looks good. Oh, you knocked a couple bulbs out in the shop, so it's darker in here. That's why it looks good. Oh yeah.
You been hammering on this thing today?
I cut the whole front of it off on this side.
Oh, I'm gonna lose the bet. I was like, the Volkswagen ain't gonna get touched after we went to the gathering. He's gonna have too much of the hot rod. But
No. He's got to cut it up to get it out of the way so he can put a hot rod in here.
No, I gotta cut it up to figure out what needs replaced.
Oh.
Because I need door posts. I already found them all. They're $60.
What is everything?
You just get a JC Whitney, check all the boxes, get it coming. $800.
Ooh, sorry.
I don't want to hear you complaining about the price of gas or groceries.
Complain about how much gas is, but you tell me to buy cab corners and rockers for a truck.
Well, you can weld that in place.
That side's not bad. This is really just this side. I mean, it's rusted out, but...
Well, there can't be no more sides than them two, so she's batting 50.
At least you had to get tools out to cut pieces off of your car. I just peeled them off with my bare hands.
What a man.
I'm a man. I think you're gonna need a spindle.
Okay, we need a lot of stuff.
Something's wrong with the geometry up here.
Yeah, she pulls a little.
I'm gonna put a bag beam on it anyway, so...
A bag beam.
It'll have a airbag in it, so it raises.
Where do you keep your golf clubs in these things?
Roof rack.
All right, here we are, Able Racing. Charlie knows a guy who knows a guy who says, yeah, we can tune anything. Even your rusty piece of crap Camaro. Good job, bud. 30 miles? 40 miles?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Oh, that was good.
Midwest City, Oklahoma.
Got a little rubbing going on over here once we hit a pretty, oh, not too bad. Wonder where that's touching. We might have to take some more Bondo out of there. Anyway, we're gonna have him dialing the tune. We put some taller tires on it, so he's gonna have to change the shift points probably and the speedometer. I want him to program that electric fan so we can get rid of that stupid switch so that they'll come on with a relay. There was something else, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it's gonna be way fast. Hey, what do you think we're gonna get rear wheel horsepower?
I'm gonna say...
You pick a number and I say above or below.
317.
317 rear wheel.
Ooh, hold on, I'm gonna go down.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's aggressive.
It's got a BTR cam in it, and it's basically a stock 5.3 with some decent exhaust, so I'm gonna go with 293.
I'm gonna say below.
Okay.
I'm setting myself.
Find out.
So you
this
get
is
so
the
he,
first time you've ever had a car dyno tuned, huh?
Yeah.
Well, wait till you meet the Russian.
he's 293 and above. I get below.
What's the winner get?
12 pack.
Nice. I'm in.
Well, this little Mustang GT just did 247, so hopefully we can beat that. I'll be happy. Then we can say we can beat a Mustang.
I hope you can beat it.
I'm just gonna run a Hellcat through next. Not a chance we're gonna put up those kind of numbers. What are you guessing, Charlie?
631.
623. Yeah, there you go. Way to be optimistic.
Yeah, there you go. I hope it makes it.
I like that car in white. It looks so subtle. Yeah, it's not obnoxious like green or orange or purple.
I don't know what's done to it. Stop. Stop. No, we ain't buying. No, 93. Cat back exhaust. 93 exhaust. I'm gonna say 648. Is it stock pulley or is it pulley? Stock pulley.
691. Dang.
Dang. Is that track mode? Track mode? That first hit, boy. Yeah. That's cool.
691. At 147 mile an hour. Is that what that is?
Yep.
Woo. Show him that truck engine, Charlie.
Oh, this thing's bad to the bone.
It's got headers. We're looking to put some red spark plug wires on it.
Look at that.
Hot garbage.
It's got the 706 heads. Yeah, orange block special. Hell yeah. We might have a slight. No, did you put a bolt in it?
I like the washers as the spacers to make the oil pan clear.
Oh yeah, he told us about it
See
though.
that? The washer trick
Yeah.
on them ICT billet brackets.
So it's automatic.
because that's all I know how to drive.
Has it got a
automatic Mortske special.
Has it got a 4L60 in it?
Yep.
Okay, good.
275 highway gears.
Okay.
What kind of power is it
All right,
gonna make?
I like it. Good gas mileage.
Oh, it's got a BTR cam.
Okay.
What's it gonna do?
What cam? Let's start there.
We
This is
don't-
a 5.3.
5.3.
Okay, we got the truck intake.
I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna. No. I'm not gonna be able to find. We got the picture of.
It's a
the
truck
screen.
cam.
It is. No. I don't know what the cam was.
What stalk?
Factory? I'm assuming.
You think it's got a stalk? Come on now.
I'm assuming
Man, you
it's
told me
factory.
all I need to know about the cam.
Yeah. No, it's very mild when you hear it.
Man, this intake is this.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Every 90 costs you like 10 horsepower.
Really?
Real bad.
Remember that one we made for mine?
Man, we're gonna do that on the dyno, man. We're gonna pop that off.
We made one for mine that you want to pump.
So what's
Hey, on the dyno, man, let's get it running best it can. Then we're gonna pull that intake pipe off. I bet it's at least worth 25.
well, so that's a 45, so that's only 5 horsepower.
Man, there's 15 in that pipe, maybe 20. Seriously.
So like what would be the way to do
The
it?
ideal one is it comes
Straight.
up like this and then it kicks. Remember that when we did all these experiments on mine?
Straight, but actually,
But it will never fit under the hood.
I was gonna say I gotta have a hood. I already got one
about-
without a hood.
Think
No.
about Camaros, Corvettes. They've got the radiator laid down. They got the intake pipe coming over.
Yep.
And they're drawing straight. That's the way that these engines like to breathe. If you don't have that, you can. There's several different air filters that you could probably just stick one on here.
But isn't it pulling like super hot air in then?
It could.
There's
yeah.
a fine line between.
Well, man, it's the lesser of the evil to put a filter here than to do all that. That's for
Okay.
sure. But man, maybe I'm wrong, man. Let's see.
So why does he not have a fuel pressure regulator on this thing? I just noticed that.
That's a good point. Now that you mentioned it.
And then he's got the
They're
return
regulating
capped
it.
off, right?
They might have a Corvette fuel filter. or
Oh,
something.
that's what it is. So it's got the regulator
So
built
it's
into
regulating it back there, and then they just run a single line forward, and then they do delete here. I've never actually seen that little delete.
Neither have I just noticed it.
It's pretty cool.
Is it though?
Yeah, that's
Power numbers.
Oh yeah, the idle seems high. I was gonna have, that was the other thing. Speedometer,
That may be in the tuning.
speedometer and the idle, and then
Or a
have the fan
vacuum
kick on.
All this stuff looks pretty normal.
What's it gonna make?
4L60, tiny cam, horrible intake,
Decent exhaust.
278.
Ooh, what did I say? 291.
That's what it's gonna make with the pipe off.
That's got a Mortske pipe on it.
Yeah, we opened the hood on your pickup and I was like, wah, wah, wah.
I think it's the world's cheapest LS Camaro. 69.
LS 69.
Do a little shopping while we're tying her down. Put a cam and
It needs a turbo.
let's just put 2 on.
Yeah, there you go.
No sissying around. Need an ECU?
Ah,
They got it.
I'm more of a carbureted guy.
Duh, so many intakes. Said he hasn't sent one out the door yet from not having it tied down, so hopefully we're not the first.
Let's go see what Andre thinks it'll make. Okay, Andre. 5.3 BTR cam of unknown variety. But I will tell you this. You can't tell it's got a cam, and the stall is definitely factory.
Perfect. So what's the problem?
Look, it doesn't have your spark plug boots on it.
That's a plus.
It does have a fancy air intake, JR was pointing out.
Pretty fancy.
eBay special.
That's a lot of turns. I'll bet you there's 20 horsepower in them turns.
No, he said 15.
15? Okay, we can put $1 on it. And foil 60?
Yes.
Okay.
How much power?
303.
Ooh,
Dang,
I like it.
spicy.
He's optimistic.
You don't like it?
No, I like it. 'Cause
I said 291.
Well, then you're hateful. Put $1 on it.
Okay.
Let's do it. No, we're gonna go out there and put $1.
Put $1?
Yeah, you don't know the drill?
No.
Gotta take it all and gotta ride from the mom on that.
Okay.
You're in?
Yeah, he's in.
I'm down to get screwed again on this trip.
What gas you got on your buddy?
It's the same as the camshaft. Mystery. I haven't put gas in it yet.
What's the exhaust look like on it?
160,000 miles, just like every junkyard 5.3. Give me
I
them.
want to go cheat and look at the exhaust.
Where's that marker at? The.
Why are you stressing me out?
If this is the most stressful thing you do today.
It is pretty stressful.
Never mind the 710 split later he's got to do.
I know, because this is tuned by Andre number.
You know the final number, yes.
Well, this is it. He could tune it to whatever he wants. He'll put it at 1 horsepower and tune it down to nothing. What if it grenades? Then who wins?
He does. You lose. Do you know where the OBD2 plug is?
You've driven it more than I have.
I didn't inspect it.
Not a chance. I guess we got to find the OBD2 connector. Found it? 275. Is it bad when the tires are louder than the exhaust?
Yep.
Yeah! I'm just glad it broke 300.
Hey!
Oh, I'm already out.
I'm out.
I'll take that for a baseline.
Yeah. That's pretty rowdy.
314.35 at 95.98 mile an hour.
That's impressive.
It's actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
You heard it right there. That's impressive.
That's good. And that's with the
snorkel pipe?
yeah.
Snorkel.
We just flip it up the other way. We go off-roading.
Watch, hey, what are you doing? Oh, you played games at the light with. Oh, are you the ringer?
No.
Look how you're holding it.
What?
What was that? You got some kind of quick draw? Yeah, go get that Andre on him. 2-4, baby. Oh, dang! I hit a 001 earlier.
046
JR,
and
get up
01.
here.
Oh man, I've got some calls. I
I got stuff to do.
gotta work.
What if I win? Is it still one more? Damn. Got him. You said that was it. You going out like that? Woo!
Really lazy.
Oh, you're not gonna beat me.
Now he's gonna beat you. Oh.
See, I jumped when he jumped, but I
You're a slow jumper though.
This is going on the internet. You sure you want this? There you go. You can have it. That was a charity. That was a charity gift.
Andre says we got a copy and paste tune, which we were fully aware of.
He did a Russian chuckle.
Does he just call it regular roulette then?
Yep. Yep. Normal roulette.
Sounds like it's got a cam now though.
Sounds a lot better. Dang.
Sounds mean. I think part of it was because the idle was so high before. It seemed like it only said it was like 700-800, but
It's about to uncork this thing.
crawls underneath with the sawzall cut. Your mufflers, they were too restrictive.
We're gonna take the filter off and the exhaust off for the final one.
If you want to, I'll get your freaking salsa.
Are we cutting the exhaust off?
We aren't, but I think he is. I guess I am. Got him! $317.
getting there.
Not bad for a copy and paste. All right, let her cool down a little bit. Now we're gonna see if we can make some more power. Intake pipe. Oh, I like it. He hid the clamp connections.
Mortske's never had a cartoon.
All right, we're gonna try one on that piece of crap. It's gonna sound like a quadrijet now, but what? Like flipping the air cleaner lid upside down, right? All right, here we go. Is it gonna be 15 horsepower? We should put another dollar on how many horsepower difference it's gonna make.
Yeah, I say 15.
He said 20, right?
Yeah, they both did.
I thought one said 15, one said 20. Horsepower. False advertising. Oh, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
He said this is the magical one.
Magical.
But this one lost 10 horsepower. No, it gained.
No, lost that one.
Oh, that's the magical one.
Well, taking it off.
I like the big bolt stuck in the front. So you so you can't tell that it's K&N. What does he think?
He doesn't know.
He thinks this will add horsepower for the filter on it?
No way.
Yeah, I think it made more horsepower with this on there than it did with...
No good. You don't think that'll fit? It's not down there without all the bends?
I think we'll get this full, but we can find out.
All right, we're gonna see what getting rid of all this and using the same air intake does. So that all there is worth about 4 horsepower is all.
Okay, so that's really omitting the pipe, right?
Yeah. And only 5 horsepower.
That's not bad.
The blue line is the pipe, the red line?
Yeah, the red line's without.
Final answer. Who's getting the money?
It's not me.
I think Slim won.
What did he guess?
I think he guessed 320.
326 or something like that. Yeah.
Somebody did a very good job, you know, transferring the harness out of a truck.
What is that doing? Oh, look, they even spray painted the alternator.
Right side.
Maybe.
Oh, look at the crappy cheap hardware that he's got holding the headers on.
There's one missing on the back.
Yeah, why wouldn't you fix that when the engine was out? That's what I told him. He's like, well, I told you it's broke. I'm like, yeah, just fix it, bro.
There you go. I just permanently made it stop and go faster.
What was that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bonus parts. Got it. Worst swap ever. Hey.
I didn't say worst. I've seen worse.
Okay.
Everything works, right?
It's a reliable swap.
Man, we went to LS Fest a couple years ago. This was like a Riddler winner compared to some of those things. These guys drove them from like Michigan. I'm like, you got the factory in your backyard, guys. But you know what? Those crappy swaps, those guys can fix anything that's on that pickup. The guys who buy all the parts, like Charlie, doesn't own any wrenches.
See what he does to me?
He owns the wrench.
Watch Westwork calls a crescent wrench the Moscow micrometer.
The Chinese fiddle.
The Swedish nut lathe. The good news is, if the air filter falls off, it can't fall out.
No.
You know this. It's time to go bowling. You got room for one more?
Got room for one more if you still want to go to Aspen.
Yeah, they convert it tight, so I'm making it artificially low idle.
Ah, yeah. This thing was like creeping along at like 20 miles an hour. I'm like riding the brake.
Let's try that.
No, you can drive.
That's not how it works.
It's not how it works, he says. Has anybody wrecked their car on a test drive? Oh yeah, definitely. Don't answer that question.
Like a wreck, never did.
Like wreck? Would it be the first test drive where you ran out of gas? No.
100% no.
Why do we have to do this at 5 o'clock traffic jam? Do they have the shift point set up pretty good, you think? I was gonna say. And we put a little bit taller tire on it too, so that probably didn't help.
That wouldn't affect it, but the tune was literally pulled off like Sloppy's pull, and they didn't bother to turn off speed limiter. So I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. But it was pretty close to wide open throttle.
Yeah.
Finding out.
I would tell you that I'm not surprised, but I wouldn't lie to you.
This thing is as cool as it gets, man.
I wish it wasn't as rusty in the quarter panels and they hadn't sanded all the paint off, but you don't get much for a 69 Camaro that's LS swap. Either it's $100,000 or it's in 100,000 pieces. And I'm like, I just want to...
Oh, it's $100,000 and a piece of shit.
Right? Well, that's what I like. I look at this, I'm like, I can fix that. I put a headliner, I put seats in it, like, that stuff's easy. And she shifts a lot firmer now.
Do you want to soften up?
No, I like a firm shift. I don't know. When it's soft, you're like, is that tranny on its way out the door? Or?
Well, I mean, it's also TPS depend. That was about 40%, okay. So it kind of got aggressive there.
What do you have the fans set to come on at? When
there's two fans, 190 and 195.
Okay. If I turn it here?
Man, let's go straight. I want to get on one time, make sure that it goes through the gears. This gears up to the moon. So dumb. Put gears in this thing's going to be so much funner.
I know.
Let me adjust 1-2 shift. It was at 55 miles an hour, still too soon.
And still too soon?
There's going to be a little pad on the right before that stop sign. Just pull in there for a second. Kill it and cycle the key on.
Go back on.
Go and start it up. I wonder if that idle air controller is a piece of shit, because that sounds like an idle air controller hung up. When we get back to the shop, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Oh, did I fat finger something in there? I did, that's on me.
At least we fixed it here.
Yeah, kill it, sorry. not accepting my point. Instead of multiplying by 1.05 and multiply by 105.
Yeah, that decimal will get you.
At least it didn't cost us $1 billion, so that's okay.
Only $1 million.
Yeah.
Didn't one of the Apollos get wrecked because of a poor calculation? Oh, I thought it was a metric to American conversion.
It was a metric to standard, yeah. I'm going to start up, see if we unfix it.
Sounds a lot better.
Like I said, I'm making it idle a little bit lower than it ought to be, just to kind of compensate for the converter being
so tight.
Yeah. Otherwise it just...
So put some gears and a converter in it, and then come back?
Yeah. And then I won't charge you anything. I like supporting the people that support me. But first tune is always paid. Been doing it too long. We can take a ride in here and rock and
I'm just glad it made more horsepower than that yellow Mustang that was ahead of him. I'm like, God, that would be sad if that thing made more horsepower. I mean, it is a truck engine, but it's also a 30-year-old Mustang.
Yeah, not enough room.
I'm happy.
Easy. I think that was a one-tire fire.
Definitely. You think somebody's gonna have a two-wheel peel 275? Come on, we're in Oklahoma still, buddy.
We didn't blow it up, and he didn't kill me, even though I didn't tell him the rules.
What were the rules? Don't blow it up or don't kill me?
Oh, no. There are 3 rules of test driving. Rule number 1, you shall not kill Andre. Rule number 2, Andre is this guy. And rule number 3, you shall observe rule number 1 at all times. So, no exceptions.
All right, cool. Thank you, sir.
That
was fun, yeah.
Fantastic.
You have
do not kick the tires when you check it, because you can miss and, you know.
And knock the rust off.
It's perfect.
I don't know if it was rust.
Perfectly crappy. Hey, easy. I already peeled most of the fiberglass out.
It would be illegal, Charlie. I think they just need to make it, like, find some kind of poisonous, venomous material in fiberglass and just outlaw it.
Says the guy with a bunch of Corvettes.
Unless Corvette. They should make it illegal to attach fiberglass to metal.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Mine was full of it.
You what?
Mine was full of it. My Camaro.
Yeah.
You're full of it.
This Beetle is full of it. I don't understand why would you do it.
I love it that you like Beetles. You know, I got some now. Slick and I got some.
Really?
They're all oval windows.
Now he doesn't like his anymore now that you got one.
Oh, yeah, I hate it.
He's always been a rear engine, air-cooled hater.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, Andre. Later, Kyle.
Ready to go for a rip?
Let's go rip it.
All right, we're gonna head back to Charlie's. Or
Slicks.
Or Slicks, or wherever we go.
I'm hungry.
You steal some? You're hungry again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not?
I could eat. All right, I've decided, well, we couldn't find anything to buy and put on the trailer, so I was gonna drive this car home, fly back, fly here, and road trip it back, but we couldn't find anything to buy to put on the back of the trailer, so we did the right thing. We're gonna haul her back. We went for a little rip. She's real good. We drove it home last night. It was like 45 miles. This thing's good. We need to fix a band clamp on the exhaust because hooked it on the ramp on the trailer and screwed that up. So, story of my life. No harm, no foul, but that is unfortunate. She's a Mishimoto, nothing but the finest. So, we'll get one of those ordered. It's not gonna beat us home because we'll be home tomorrow. Anyway, she's loaded down, ready to go. How about a neat load? Roadster in a 69 Camaro. All right, we'll probably see you when we get back. All right, we made her back from our giant Oklahoma excursion. And by we, I mean the cars and the tow pig and I. Duff is so happy to see me. So happy. Anyway, we got to get those things off the trailer. And we have a giant exhaust leak that has since developed on the old green machine. So here's a V-band clamp. I don't have these around because this is like race car stuff. We don't do race car things. This is built by Mishimoto, Duff. You think Mishimoto's any good? I don't know. Anyway, so the end of each pipe is shaped like a V, and you put them together and you put this clamp over it. And so I think that's why they call it a V-band clamp. Anyway, she's a little twisted up. So we're gonna put her in the vise and try to straighten it out, try to get it back on the car. I do have some new ones on order for future shenanigans, because odds are this will happen again. I do believe this is 3-inch. I hope so, because that's what I ordered. But anyway, we're gonna put her in the old English vise and straighten it out. You can see that little lip right there is where it caught the trailer and peeled her right open. I'm guessing the part number 0300 right there is a dead giveaway that she's a 3-inch. Duff, who brought us apples? Fresh apples. I wonder if that was Walt. So I'm gonna try to clamp on the center part, because that seems a lot thicker than the band around the outside. And surely it's gonna want to go right back into place. Said nobody ever. Not bad. Oh yeah, good enough for the girls we go with. And then this little eye bolt got torn out of there. How does that work? So that goes through there and pulls on there. And that goes through there, but what's the function of that guy? You know, the right thing to do would be to go look at another one on the car. Are we missing a piece? I'll go look. Is that supposed to be up inside of there somehow? For dumb. We can fix that. Bob the Builder, we can build it. Oh weird, the end of the threads are buggered up. Who would have guessed? Surely it's never drug on the street before. We schlep that in its little holder and then we straighten it out, but we gotta get it in there first. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
And that thing goes over that. And we put our nut back on. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. I'm gonna go put this back on the car, hopefully. And we should be back in business. All right, it's been home for I don't know how many weeks, but it's time to get back on this Camaro. We've been bombing around on it, but I'm sick of the brakes that are sitting on my shelf. So let's put them on it. This thing sounds so good, don't it, Duff? Except for the noisy electric fuel pump and the fans. Uh-oh. It's been a couple weeks since she's been started. Probably a few weeks. There we go. She's good, huh, Duff? You've ridden in it a few times. Probably haven't even filmed it since we've been home. So this car came with a disc brake kit. This guy showed me everything that he'd bought and he sent me all the eBay links. So I'm pretty sure this came off eBay as well. Here's the boxes I was concerned about taking up space on my bench. Pretty much everything on this car he bought off eBay. He sent me the auction listings. So let's see what's in here. Looks like we got some braided brake hoses. These must be rotors. Oh, you can tell China by the balsa wood. Ooh, drilled and slotted rotors. The finest Chinese Bear brake parts has to offer. The biggest question is, does it come with instructions? Oh, look at that, destructions. Ooh, he also gave us a headliner for it. We're gonna have to get a professional for that because I think the glass has got to come out. I'm guessing there's a brake booster and a master cylinder, backing plates, calipers maybe. Yep, caliper, another caliper. They're even labeled right and left. What a deal. Ooh, even comes with spindles. Wonder if they're a stock height or a drop spindle. For some reason I was thinking he told me that he put drop springs or spindles in it, but we'll find out. Doesn't look like it. Looks like we got some caliper brackets. Would have been a lot cooler if they were built onto the spindle. These are formed instead of just being flat welded stuff. Bunch of Chinese bearings. Proportioning valve. Ooh, brake booster brackets. I'm guessing it is power then. Clevis for the push rod. Bleeder hoses. That looks like a master cylinder box. Yep, Corvette style. Dual reservoir. And last but not least, the booster. Just a little baby guy. Looks like it's for 62 to 67 X body in Nova, 67 to 69 F body, what we got here, 64 to 72 A body, and then also the X body, 68 to 74. So, Novas, Chevelles, Camaros, all the same, with some instructions, straight from China. So this kit comes with drilled and slotted rotors, stainless braided brake lines, a booster, a Corvette style master cylinder, spindles, unsure of whether they're dropped or not, backing plates, the calipers, the caliper brackets, pretty much everything else you need, except for I don't see any hardware, lines, plumbing stuff. So maybe we'll find that later, or maybe we'll have to use the old stuff. Who knows? Oh, and it comes with new Chinese bearings. Reading through the old instructions here, they're actually pretty respectable. However, it says you got to use 240 grit emery paper and a rotary sanding motion on the spindle to take 4 10,000ths off. Anyway, I don't know what it is. Barely any material. This one slid on. This one we file a little bit. And now the bearing slides on there. Kind of, sort of. It did, I promise. So instructions are actually pretty decent. Oh, except for they spelled peen on ball peen hammer wrong. So grammar Nazis here. But other than that little bit of sanding that it told us to do, it should be a direct fit. I'll be the judge of that. Let's rip off the old drums and the rallies and get this thing stopping way faster. The other reason for doing this is to get rid of these god-awful rallies. Rallies are acceptable on muscle cars, but I can't have it on my muscle car. Copo caps and Steelies it is. What size tire we got going on here? 235/60? 215/65. Just a baby. All right, now we're gonna take a bunch of cotter keys out, castle nuts, and drop the tie rods and the ball joints and all that, and we're gonna properly support the lower control arm so the spring doesn't come out and mess up this glorious face you're looking at right here. The kit also did mention now would be a good time to replace your ball joints and tie rod ends and maybe even upgrade to tubular control arms. So I'm guessing these guys are selling all that stuff. And it looks like the power brake and master cylinder proportioning valve and the drilled and slotted rotors are all upgrades. So previous owner really opted for the finest for this Camaro. One drum brake, delete, complete. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Yeah, those are definitely stock spindles, not a drop spindle. We do have to steal the steering arm off of this, so I think we actually have to take the brakes all apart to get that hardware out. Unless we use a torch, but we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna use the torch, I mean. So, we'll get that steering arm off before we file this away. These new guys should pop right on. This car's got a little baby sway bar on it, and it's also got a shock that runs through the center of the spring, so between those two, keeps the spring from flying out and knocking your front teeth out. That's handy. The spindles aren't a right and a left, the steering arms are, so you gotta make sure you put the right steering arm on there. And the caliper brackets are right. You want your calipers to be on the back side of the wheel, and you also want the bleeder to be at the top. If the bleeder's at the bottom, you're gonna have a tough time getting the air out. That's putting in slick, how I know. Because they did it and told me about it. That's how I know. If Slick would ever get his to keep from overheating, maybe we could have a little race. Chevrolet versus Pontiac. LS versus small block. Pontiac's called a small block? Are they all big blocks? Or are they all just blocks? All right, everything's just finger tight for now so that when we have to take it apart again, because undoubtedly we will have to. It's just the way it goes around here. We do it right because we do it twice. Just for S's and G's, we'll see if they blast off, but I doubt it. Yep, spinning on the backside. Any guesses on how the brakes look? The hose did not look new, so somebody didn't replace that. If they did, it's been a while. It stopped pretty decent though. Not as good as it went, but it still stopped pretty all right. Are you kidding me? You didn't even have to take that off. Idiot. No, no, no! Looks like somebody put some new shoes in there. Okay, maybe we did have to take that off. Now, we should be able to steal our steering arm off and file this away for another project, like maybe a 67 Camaro that doesn't have brakes. Now we gotta put our caliper bracket on. And then we gotta use the same hardware that holds this on to hold on our dust shield and our steering arm. Right? Wrong. Here we go, doing things twice. Gotta put the dust shield on before the caliper bracket. Right? Sure. No. It's gotta stay on the backside. Like I said, we do it right because we do it twice. Now can we put our steering arm back on? Guess what? Hardware's too short to engage in the nylocks. You gotta love that. Looks like 1/2 inch fine thread. We'll have to go see if we can find some longer ones, because that's hardware you don't want falling out. Holding your steering arm on. It's one thing if you don't have brakes, you can still steer and dodge something, but if you got brakes and no steering, you just hit the brakes and it kind of sends you wherever. Nice work, China. All right, my 1/2 inch fine thread hardware selection isn't that great, but I think we found some that should work. Got to make sure that they don't interfere with anything. We can grind a little bit off if we need to. And then we're going to use the ones that were too short up there and swap them out with the ones back here that are too short, because they're different lengths. That one's longer than this one. The steering arm's thicker. And there we go. So we got some metal tabs here, 2 of them, that you use to bend over the hex of this bolt to keep it from backing out. One of them is going to line up with a flat, and one of them is not. So you only got to bend one over. Great tool for bending it over is your pry using the right tool, Mortske repair pry bar. Get yours at mortske.com. Oh, freaking perfect. Good to go. So you can get a little clip so you can keep her in your pocket. Looks like that dust shield just barely kisses the lower control arm, but I think it'll be fine. You want to see something dumb? The OBS saga continues. We're trying to swap door handles, and the door handles are different. Well, the handles, yes, they are different. The way the lock mechanism tumbler goes in is different from the earlier ones. And that's all I wanted to change, was the tumbler from one to the other. So can you put that whole door handle in? The old style door, or no?
Probably, just this one's all busted.
Yeah. Try that, I guess. Nothing interchanges in the OBSs. Cotter keys in. You always want to put your cotter keys in your steering components because, like I said earlier, you don't want to lose steering. Now I guess we're ready to grease some wheel bearings. Put those inside of our rotors and put the seals in. Put our rotors on. Then we can put the calipers and hoses and all that good stuff. Nothing really to see there, so I won't show you. One thing of note is the bearings came with races, but there's also races installed in the rotor. So which ones do we use? We use the ones that are already in the rotor because we're lazy and they're already in there. And what are they going to be? Worse quality than the ones that came with our Chinese bearings? You know, I said I wasn't going to show you packing wheel bearings. Well, this thing's a neat old wheel bearing packer. It holds, I don't know, 3-4 tubes of grease down there. Mojo had it in his garage collecting dust, so he cleaned her up, brought her out. This thing works real good when you got to do a bunch of wheel bearings. Super fast, clean, effective, and it's old, so it's awesome. Okay, this has got to go up some. Yeah. And then, whoop, greased. Ready to go. 3 more to do. I don't know if I've ever used it on real tiny bearings. We'll see how she works. Like a champ. They just don't make them like they used to, kids. I ran into instances before on these aftermarket kits where the castle nut doesn't stick out far enough so that it catches the cotter key. This one looks like it's gonna be, ooh. It'll be fine, but it's on the very edge. It's almost like it needs either a deeper castle nut or more washers behind it. Rubs the backing plate. Or not. What are you rubbing on? Sure sounds like, oh yeah, just a little rubbage fixed it. Good to go. MBM. Most bad mechanics. Is that what that stands for on the dust cap? My bad machine. Miller beats Michelob. Mom beats me. Mortske buys machine. What the French? Is the dust cap not deep enough? There we go. Don't smack your dust cap in the middle like a savage. It also says spray the rotors down with brake cleaner, wipe it off, and then soapy water. We definitely did that. Soapy water for the win. Ah, crap. This is what I hate about slotted and drilled. It's on the wrong side. Did you catch that? It's the 50-50-90 rule. The only 2 times that I've put slotted rotors on, this and my dad's Buick, got them backwards. Guess what? His car is stopping just fine. But that's gonna bother me, and now's the time to fix it. We do it right, because we do it twice. I should have just lied and told you guys that this was the other side. Then you'd have been like, why is the caliper on the front side of the wheel? You guys are smart. You'd have caught me for sure. We don't want our brakes failing because our slots and our rotors are going the wrong way. Just another reason idiots like me shouldn't have fancy things like slotted rotors. Can't get them wrong if you don't have them. Can't get these wrong. Well, you can. It says L on the old caliper, so if you get that wrong, that's on you. This would also be a good time to paint your calipers if you cared about the appearance of your car. You guys know better around here, though. What's going on? What's your deal? Is this one started? No. Another reason to run Steelies. Nobody can see your rusty calipers or rotors. First world problems called for first world solutions. Real world problems, real world solutions. Is that what it is? I don't know. I do know that caliper's on. Then we're ready for a brake hose. And then we're pretty much done with this side. One thing I don't like about these is not only is the quality probably not there, but if you ever have a failure on the road, who knows what this is mimicked after or modeled after. At least it's got regular ends, so maybe one off of a 78 Monte Carlo is the same. But yeah, like Puddin had one that had AN line adapters on it, and the parts store doesn't carry any of those. So when we were down at the old Lone Star Roundup, we were SOL when we needed a brake hose for the back of his Travelall. Gotta love the aftermarket. You also want to make sure that that brake hose doesn't rub on the frame or the steering or the wheel or when the suspension goes up and down. And also that it's not in a bind, like it's got a big twist in it. I really don't like it. That looks like something that belongs on your sink. Good news is it's only holding all your brake pressure in. All right, passenger side is done. I did snap off the brake line that goes over to this side of the car, so get to replace that. I even heated it up with the torch. This side was all rounded off, and I still managed to save that one with the locking pliers. But now we're getting to the fun stuff. So before we put this brake booster and master cylinder proportioning valve assembly on, I got this handy dandy little tool from Amazon. Pretty affordable. Haven't used it a ton, but when you do, it's super handy. You could do this with a straight edge, but so you see it's got this master cylinder side, brake booster side. They got cute little magnets that you don't really need, but anyway, you can see that it touches there. And then I already put the slug, if you guys are aware, there's about a 3/4 of an inch long slug that these master cylinders come with. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. It's already in there. This one might actually, oh, this one did slide out. This one doesn't have an O-ring groove in it. A lot of them have an O-ring groove and an O-ring that goes on it, and that holds it in there so it doesn't slide out. But what I'm getting at is if you got this little set screw here, you push this rod tight against your master cylinder, or your rod in your booster, then you put it in here and then loosen it up, you can see that it slides in about the length of that guy. So it needs that guy in there. So then we start over from scratch. There's no adjustment on this, so let's base it off of our master cylinder. There's a little tiny bolt going in the end of this rod that we can adjust. So we set that to where it needs to go, put it up there, and it's pushing out ever so slightly. And you don't want that because it's going to be applying your brakes all the time. So we take our 8mm wrench and our 7mm socket and screw her in a little bit. Now, check it again. Still out just a bit. I apparently need some fancy little bent wrench to do this. Not a lot of real estate. Oh, for cheese and rice. And I don't know what they do, what they cross-thread these in or what, but they're not going to come loose on their own or tighten up. They're a pain to tighten up, I should say. I'm going to go modify an 8mm 5/16 wrench. Not my good craftsman, though. Who's on the chopping block? Do we even have any? Oh, the 5/16 are gone. Should we go dig through Mojo's toolbox and find one? Betting that's where they are. Weird. Wait. What's this? 7mm. Dang it, that ain't what we need. Found this in my toolbox. It just says Duff. It's forged alloy steel from Japan.
Overnight parts from Japan.
Okay, I think we're gonna be able to bend it by hand. I'm so strong. Hercules, Hercules. Probably just break it. All right, I'm gonna go test that before I bend her too far. Oh yeah, she's perfect. Look at that. Like a glove.
Like a glove.
Cheese and rice. I don't know if there's gonna be enough adjustment on this bad boy. Chinese quality at its finest, and there's nothing I can do about it because I bought the car and this came with it. Oh, crepes. I suppose we could grind it down, as unfortunate as that would be. I think that's it. That's all we're gonna get. Whew. It's real close. I can barely rock this thing back and forth. Oh yeah, it's gonna work. So strangely enough, the rod that goes through here has a radius on one end and not on this end. So I spin it around and now I got more than enough clearance. I probably got an 1/8 inch. So I think actually I'm gonna back this off just a touch. We'll call that good. She should be ready to bolt on. You guess it, now we gotta take this mess out of here. We gotta take the proportioning valve, the lines going to it, the master cylinder, and the rod going to the pedal. So, let's do that. Where do we even start? Of course, these lines go in different spots than they would on the new one. So we're gonna have to modify some things, which is what you should have to do when you buy a kit. Alrighty, let's do it. All right, we shut her down for the night. We're back out here in the morning. Before I did shut it down, I bent up a new line. I used that, ouch. Don't hit your Camaro. I use that copper nickel plated stuff. I don't like the looks of it, but it does seem to bend and flare better than the nickel plated stuff. I don't know what it is. It's the gold stuff versus the silver stuff. Of course, I slid the nut on, flared it, and then I bent it, and the nut slid down past the bends. So I had to start over again because I wasn't going to get that nut around those bends. But I did have the nut on there at least. Here's the old one. We got to put a couple clamps on there yet, but I'm going to wait until we get everything situated. And I left everything long, so once it's all situated, we can bend this up to the proportioning valve, hook her all up. I got to take a couple of 3/8 nuts off the firewall so that we can slide everything up there. Getting that rod unhooked was a real pain. There's a pin that goes through here. It's got a magic Jesus clip on the end. And I have way worse luck with these clips than you do the ones on the door cranks, them shooting off and not being able to find them. But anyway, so that's got a notch in the end where that clip hooks. And then in the middle here, there's a little flat metal tab. Not even flat, it's like a, what do they call them washers that are like a wave washer type deal. Puts tension on it. And then that's got a hole in the end, and then it hooks to this return spring. So as I was pulling that pin out, that groove for the clip, got that wave washer, and the spring is pulling on it. I had a heck of a time figuring that out. And putting it back together is gonna be a real treat because you gotta sneak the pin. You're laying upside down in the dark. You gotta get the pin through this, through the pedal, and then through that washer, and then through this clevis, and then get the clip on. Anyway, this is the old clevis. Anyway, this is the new clevis. I took it off. Thankfully, the rod is 3/8 24 on both of them, and I put the old clevis on here because I know that's gonna be the right diameter and the right width. And obviously it's threaded, so it's adjustable. We're ready to spin that sucker on there, and we'll get that all hooked up. And we'll drop this on there, and then we just gotta hook up some lines and bleed it. There's no way it's gonna be that easy, but we'll give it a whirl. So I went to hook up our clevis, and our brake rod's not long enough, but thankfully it comes with this extension in there. So our brake rod just threads into that. We set our jam nut. We adjust this into the clevis, and then tighten up the jam nut. Good to go. Hopefully. I'm guessing we're gonna have to trim this off because that seems way longer than we need it. All right, we're ready to bleed the brakes on this thing. Had the booster on and off a couple times, getting that rod adjusted to the right length because we do everything twice here. The brake line going to this side had the wrong size fitting on the end, so instead of putting an adapter, I just made a new line. So both lines for the front are done. making lines, not fun. I don't care about how pretty they look, so they're acceptable. They match the rest of the LS swap. So we're ready to bleed the brakes here. Oh yeah, hooked up the vacuum line from the intake. They just had a really crappy little plastic cap on there, clamped in place, zip tied in place, dropping parts over here. So that's hooked up. Make sure you use vacuum tubing. If you use regular fuel hose, it's not meant for vacuum, it'll collapse on you. You don't want your vacuum hoses collapsing. Let's take a look at the bottom side of this thing. I don't think I've ever had it up on the lift and looked at it, so probably haven't shown you guys either. I think 69s are the only year they got these fancy little marker lights. I am not a Camaro guy, not yet anyway. A little baby sway bar. Looks like they put a little paint job undercoating something underneath here. Bump stops are pretty whacked out. Looks like they put new shocks on though, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, those are newer. Maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, long term, a big sway bar would be cool. Maybe, you know, tubular control arms. Probably not though. Sway bar, maybe. It's got an aftermarket, low profile, like a hot rod oil pan. You gotta have that to clearance this, and it's still pretty close. And there's actually some washers between the engine mount adapter plates. I don't love that, but I don't really see a problem with it either. So these pans are a few $100. Of course, it's got headers. You can see they've been dragging, and also when we took it off the trailer, we screwed up that band clamp. I got a new one to fix that, but we probably won't fix it. The tuner guys said that the shorter the headers, the more power is generally what they see. But yeah, so I think he wasted his money on those. Looks like the tie rod ends, all that stuff is original, ball joints, all that good stuff. So another reason to go through the front end if I really wanted to, but it drives actually really good. Looks like we got oxygen sensors both sides. I think it's 3-inch all the way back. They just took some pipe and some elbows and made their own, and it actually sounds really good. Obviously had a drive shaft made up. Ooh, kind of a rat's nest of wiring and zip ties up there. Looks like the rear seal has seen better days. We should probably stick a new one in there. Hopefully it seals it up. There's a big old chunk of that seal that's missing. Also looks like that thing's been whacked a few times. So maybe we want to address that. It doesn't have a stall converter in it. I think he said the tranny's been gone through. Sure looks like it by the paint job, but the pan has seen some things. It's a pretty good crack. I don't know about crack, but it got whacked pretty good right there. So yeah, some general tidying up. And then, like I said, that seal back there looks like there's a spacer adapter to move that back so that the mount works. Drive shaft is never painted. Usually all the shaft shops paint them, but it's all new stuff, so that was big bucks, I bet. I don't know what these mufflers are. They sound good. Typical Oklahoma things. We got a 2.5-inch muffler on a 3-inch pipe, and then they necked it up 3-inch coming back. What the French, guys? Just buy the right muffler. But like I said, sounds good. Dumps out in a pretty all right spot. Kind of shoots right onto the leaf spring, but you don't got a lot of options with these things, unfortunately. Probably not a good spot to have the fuel line hanging though, right on the exhaust. We should definitely tie that up a little bit better. 10 bolt, one wheel peel. I guess it's like 273 gears he thought, so she is a screamer, but not doesn't have a lot of get up and go out of the hole. Well, could be a lot better. Looks like they did put new shocks on the rear. Mono leaf because it was a 6-cylinder car. But underneath here, I mean, there's a little bit of rust in the floors, but super solid. Body mounts are gone, but the floors are definitely not the worst I've seen. These cars rot out so bad. And yeah, once they get rusty in the rockers, that's actually structural because it ties the rear sub rail to the front. Hoofda. Those bushings are shot in the leaf springs. But They get really rusty right here where the leaf springs bolt to the body. And that's not something you want. Same deal with where the subframe mounts. You want to make sure it isn't rusty there because that is obviously structural in a unibody car. So, I mean, it could use floors, but I'm not going to put floors in it. Works good for ripping around on the gravel roads. The driver's floor is actually real good. A little rust up here by your feet. So, yeah. Not a lot of surprises under here. I like how they painted over all the rust. Whatever, at least they didn't paint the top. This guy didn't, but the person before, oh, he kind of clear coated it, or I think it's clear coat. It sat outside for a month and hasn't gone away, so it's probably clear coat, not the wipe on stuff. But anyway, address that fuel line and transmission seal leak, and should be pretty good down here. Let's bleed some brakes, or get some brake fluid in it, and then go from there. I did check, and I don't have any regular rubber brake hoses for the front. It looks like the factory disc brake cars in '69 had a similar hose, so I'm gonna order some of those because I just can't stand the sink wand stainless plastic combination there. They're just cheesy, and they're probably pretty poor quality. All right, I think we got everything bled in the front. On the rear here, I figured we'd open her up, check her out. Looks like she's got new hardware, new shoes, good to go. Drums look nice inside. Like I said, new shocks back here. Looks like the tires have just barely kissed on the driver's side, but I could feel them on the passenger side. Fiberglass? No. How come bleeding brakes is always such a saga? Chin and I were not having any luck getting fluid back here, so I assume the rear hose is no good. So pulled the old one off. I don't have any '69 Camaro rear brake hoses on hand, but you know what I do have an abundance of? Square body ones. Square body Chevy rear hose, exact same thing. The bolt that holds it to the rear end at the T is 3/8 on those versus 5/16 on this, and that's not gonna matter, it's clamped down. And then at the other end where it hooks up, it's got that, you know, mounting clip, and the little tanger on the end is oriented a little bit different, so I just shaved that down. Works great. And then while I was digging through my stash, check this out. Boom, 70 to 81 Camaro front hose. Exact same thing. I did have to ream the banjo end out ever so slightly. Otherwise, perfect fit. Here's a little, well, there's a little tanger on there on the square body ones. Let me show you, since I have an abundance of them. See that little tanger there? Shave that off. Fit in there absolutely perfect. The more you know. Don't waste money on '69 Camaro rear brake hoses. Just go to your local parts store, get one for a square body two-wheel drive. 73 to 87, boom, bolt right in. Also, tech tip of the day, if you're working on a banjo style fitting, just get yourself an earplug. I know this is not an earplug, but an earplug will do the same thing, and it keeps from making a mess on your floor. If you're into that, and if you didn't start with a mess already like me. So now I'm gonna go put a hose on the other side in the front, and then get chin back over here, and hopefully we can get the rear bled out, and I get rid of these cheesy faucet hoses. Looks like they go to your toilet, and we'll be stopping real good. And I like it this way, so if I ever have a failure, I can look back at this video and say, oh yeah, it's got 70 to 81 Camaro front hoses and square body rear. The more you know. Here's a better look at the passenger side. There's this little tiny bump out right here. So if we whack that with a hammer, that'll probably help. You can see it's kissing back in here just a little bit as well. And you can see it's chewed up our fancy Cooper Cobra white letters here. Just chewing up the letters. That brings me to my next point. Wheel and tire sizes. Obviously we're getting rid of the rallies, and obviously we got some tire rubbage back here, so we're not gonna put spacers because that's a terrible idea. Let's show you what we got for wheels and tires in mind. Yeah, brand new Krager's. Just kidding, you think I'm an idiot? Let's talk about wheels and tires. What do we take off, Duff? Woo! Scared you. So this is a 275/60 Cooper Cobra. You can see it was rubbing on the backside. This is an 8-inch aftermarket wheel. I think it's like a Stockton wheel, style 62 or series 62. So anyway, this is our OEM style wheel. Takes the copo style caps. I'm guessing if it's an 8-inch wheel, it's 4-inch backspace. And it barely touches, and it's apparently really bald on the passenger side for some reason. And here's what we're gonna put on it instead. Evolux. I don't know. Scorpion. Capricorn HP. High performance. So this is a 255 70 15. 275. So I'm not speaking the metrics, but it's just easier with tires. Isn't it funny how they take, it's 275 millimeters wide versus 250 millimeters wide, which is 20 difference. But it's a 15-inch rim, so can't we just go all one way or the other? But anyway, 20 millimeters narrower, so it should give us clearance we need. It's a little bit taller because of the sidewall height being a 70, which means it's 70% as tall as it is wide. This is 60%. It's a 60, so you get the deal. We're going narrower and taller. And the other thing about this, same wheel, got the bulge going on over here, so it almost looks like you got more rim than you do. So depends on the look you're going for. Big wheels, big tires, that's the look we're going for. And on the front, we're getting rid of the 215, just little baby, 215 millimeter wide, 60 series. This is a, I believe, a 15 by 6 inch. Maybe it's a 15 by 7. Factory rally wheel, it probably says stamped on here. I really don't care. No, I'm not going to sell these. Don't email me at mortskerepair@gmail.com asking me if I want to sell my rallies. We'll save these tires and put on something else, and we'll use the rims to make some good rollers because everybody loves some rallies except for this guy. Here's what we're going to replace it with. So these are the rear tires that were on this thing. This is a 245/60, so we're going 30 millimeters wider, which is what, 1.25 wider than it was. And then we got a 60 series, so a little bit taller, a little bit wider. And this is a factory 15 by 6, similar to what we got on the rear, but this is an actual factory wheel and dug them out of the stash. So pretty much the same width rim that we had before, but we're going with an 1.25 wider tire and then just air taller. If it rubs, then I guess we'll have to worry about it. I kind of wanted to go with 235/60, but I didn't have any laying around. And these 245s were on the rear. So we're going from a 245/60 in the rear to a 255/70. So slightly wider and a whole lot taller and wider rim. So there you go. More information than you ever wanted to talk about tires. What's the 60? Aspect ratio. Yeah, diameter, aspect ratio, width. All right, now back to your regular scheduled shenanigans. Duff's ready to go for an RIDE. Think they're gonna clear? Oh yeah, this is quite a bit bigger. One thing I do like about these stock wheels is they're hub centric, meaning they line up with the hub here, so you're not relying on the wheel studs or the lug nuts to keep it centered. We should have all kinds of room back here now that we're 20 millimeters narrower. But you can see these aftermarket wheels, they don't sit on the hub, so you could make a ring. But something I always like better about stock stuff, other than it's nearly free at times if you got it laying around. But yeah, it works better. It's more gooder. All right, let's take a look at that transmission seal. I got one sitting here for what like a 01 two-wheel drive Tahoe should use, but I don't know if the dimensions are right. So let's try to take that one out very nicely and see if we can salvage it and get a number off it and dimensions. Or we're gonna find out if our 4583, which is a 4L60 700R4 output, is the right one. I can measure the drive shaft OD, so the ID should be the same. Oh yeah, I think it'll go. The National has quite a bit more lip than whatever this thing was. But she's got a pretty good tear to it. So, let's slide it in there and not have a leak. Because I hate leaks. You wouldn't think so, judging by my floor in the shop, but leaks, no bueno. Copo hubcaps, Steelies, bueno. All right, we're going back to the regular cab. K1500. We got the sliding rear window cut out. Mojo only broke one piece of glass. Found this in there. Somebody who buys some merch is gonna get this sweet signed license plate. And we're gonna watch Chin break the back window out of this. And if he doesn't, we're gonna glue it into that. Well, that wasn't much fun, but we got her out of there. Now we're gonna clean that up a little bit. And we're gonna clean up this thing a little bit. We'll throw some urethane in it. And then we won't have a squeaky rear window anymore that rattles and whistles and everything else, right, Duff? Yeah. Windows all cleaned up. Fidget spinner has his new fidget spinner.
I didn't even shake it that much.
Ooh, even taped her off. Look at that.
I didn't want to ruin the California Tina.
The Calatina. Looks good.
Yeah, it wasn't
not really, but
it's better than what it was.
Yeah, they didn't have much it was silicone on the sides here, urethane, and so it was starting to rust out. Top and bottom was good, but and by rust out I mean surface rust. But that'll be better than nothing. We need a white paint sponsor. But yeah, I think let that dry, and then we'll put some urethane on it, and then it'll be good to go. Quiet down, it's nap time. Mojo's ripping doors off. Since you worked at the body shop, do you want the honors at the black cock?
Believe it or not, I never did.
You never did any black cocking? And
no, I was the sister, not the cocker.
The sister? You were somebody's stepsister? Weird.
Great success.
Great success.
All right, no more leaky window. Now we can get our Heartbeat of America Chevrolet logo. Oh, better yet, we'll get like a mural, like an American flag and an eagle and a buffalo. And we can't talk about Second Amendment items, but you get the point. Or just get, oh, this thing needs some like yee decals in the back. Duck Commander. Browning.
That Mojo, he's a good kid, huh, Duff? So I figured while we had all the tools out, we've had a one-piece rear window for the rollback for a long time. And we had all the caulk out, and we had our caulks out. And the extractor. So we got that in there. And yeah, I maybe broke it. But Mojo's cleaning up my mess. He's a good kid. You're doing a real good job. There's a dent here, so there's a little gap that we had to fill, but I think she'll be all right. Let's definitely not paint that bare steel drive shaft and slide it in. I like this previous guy's style. Probably spent 600 bucks on a drive shaft, never painted it. Spent probably the same on a disc brake kit, and I never painted it. We get along great, but then he painted the bottom side of this car right over the rust and all. I wouldn't have done that for sure. All right, let's let this thing down and test it out, see if we got any brakes and whatever other improvements we maybe just made. All right, we got to hook up the battery cables here. And I really don't like these top post to side post adapters. And I understand with an LS you get some extra wires in there like this ground that goes to who knows where and is wrapped around here. So there is some opportunities to clean up the wiring. But look at this. He made this nice little bracket to hold his heater hoses. Speaking of that, the fan barely moves any air or barely turns, so Heater not so good, and there's frost outside. But anyway, I either need to put a dual terminal battery on it or just clean up some wiring, because that's way too many connections coming off of there for my liking. I don't know. Whatever, it's working for now. Apparently he had a polar bear battery sponsor. They didn't put their name on the from sticker, but yeah, it's a super start, so you know it's the goodest. Overall, the wiring is pretty decent on this thing. The computer's laying inside, I don't really like that, but I've seen a lot worse. Case in point, Dirt Reynolds. There we go. Still got to rewire the fans. They're wired up to a switch, which is hooked up to the key, so anytime you have the key and the switch on, they come on, and anytime you're driving in hot weather and forget to turn the switch on, they don't come on. So Andre down there at Able Racing programmed the outputs on the ECU so that we can trip a relay, which there should be a relay there already. I think it controls the ground side, so once it reaches like 180, the first fan comes on, and then like 190, the second fan comes on, or you can hook them both up to 180. But anyway, they won't run your battery dead. They aren't annoying when you turn your key on, and they come on when they're supposed to, not just with a switch that everybody forgets to turn on or off. If you're doing an LS swap, that's the way you gotta do it. Come on. Don't do these Oklahoma things. This steering wheel drives me nuts. I'd love to find like a factory style teakwood one, or maybe some aftermarket one. But this will have to do for now. Oh yeah. Like I said, it sounds good. Those tires don't fill out as well as the other ones, but we'll see how I like them. We can always go back, I guess. Those other ones were just, they were tight up to the inside, and that's why we had to rip some of that stuff out earlier in the video. Oh! You just can't win. Maybe we need like a 265/70 Duff. Do they make a 265/70? Well, Duff's out cruising around. Let's see if we can round him up. We gotta run some errands anyway. Fans come on. Car doesn't crank over. Turns out the neutral safety switch in the steering column is still hooked up. There was a piece of wire wrapped around it, 14 gauge electrical wire, that went all the way back to the fuel tank that was not hooked up to anything back there, so we took it out, and maybe that's why that was there, to hold the transmission in neutral. So while this thing warms up and we wait for Duff, a couple things I would like to do to it. Like I said, this steering wheel is terrible. I would like to get rid of this terrible B&M slapstick. It's fun when you go through the gears, but it's terrible to find neutral. It's hideous. And yeah, so I would like to get the stock column hooked back up. I'd really like to find a factory horseshoe or horse collar center console and put that in here, but those things are big bucks and expensive. And isn't big bucks and expensive the same thing? But yeah, you don't just find them used and cheap. If you do, hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com. And then I was thinking if they were big enough, we could hide the ECU in there, but I don't think so, because that ECU is huge. So we might have to move the ECU. That's on the list. The knobs for the heater controls up here are busted, so I'd like to replace that and then put like a vintage air kit in here, or at least get the heater working. It'd be kind of cool to drive this thing in the winter. He's got a headliner for it, so I'll have to go to my headliner guy. Yeah, there he is. What's up, dog? Come on in. Come on, there's room for one more. Let's go. Want to go to Aspen?
Got room for one more if you still want to go to Aspen.
These seats have these terrible truck covers on here, and they slide all over the vinyl because they're not tied down. I would love to put houndstooth factory upholstery in here. That stuff is freaking sweet, but again, it's expensive. These seats need new foam. I'm kind of worried about putting new foam in these seats because I barely fit in here anyhow, and with new foam, Uncle Terry's got a Camaro and a Firebird, and he's bigger than me. He says he fits in the Firebird great, but he does not fit in the Camaro because he thinks it's because the seats have been rebuilt. A radio of sorts would be cool. Should fix those tips. I need gauges in here. Like right now we got this little Joy car thing, plugs in the OBD2. Dakota Digital gauges, super expensive, but they're nice and they would clean things up a bunch. Bigger sway bars. It's got a one-wheel peel rear with some terrible tall gears. I'd like to put some shorter legs, like put a set of 373s or 410s in it. And quick performance 9-inch, so quick performance, hit us up if you want to work together. And then maybe like a 4-link style setup rear, big bucks. Let's just start with the 9-inch and go from there. But yeah, I want to paint the wheels the factory color. I just kind of rattle can them for now, so we'll work the bugs out and see how they work and fit. And that's the other thing we got to test, if they rub at full lock. So yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do. You know, HVAC, gauges, rear end, a lot of money. But this is what I wanted, rough around the edges, 69 Camaro. Like, I don't feel like it's rubbing. It didn't have to be a 69, but 69s are just way cooler than 67s or 68s. So I think it checked all the boxes. He had already put the power steering on it. It already had the LS in it. Overdrive. It's got good exhaust on it. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good car. The floors are good enough for me. If I really wanted to put floors in it, I could. I'm not going to touch the outside, I don't think. I hope not. Yeah, just leave the rust and the dents and the dings. And I've already had a handful of people ask to buy it. They're like, or ask if it's for sale, because they know that's kind of what we do, is buy and sell stuff. And they want to buy this car because it's 69 Camaro, and I'm like, nope, not for sale, not this one. We ain't getting rid of it yet, so don't look for the price and availability in the video description. We're gonna hang on to this thing. I did pay 20 grand for this car. Charlie, my buddy down at OK Speed and Custom, go check those guys, him and Slick out on YouTube. But he knew I was in the market for one. He's got a 69. Go harass him at OK Speed and Custom and say, hey, Mortske says you need to work on your 69 Camaro. But anyway, that car had a perfect look, hammered down, small block, 4-speed, and he tore it all apart to fix all that rust in the back. And there it sits. But anyway, he kind of knows these things. He's had a handful of them. He found this thing on Facebook Marketplace, reached out to me. I said, can you take a look tonight? And he messaged the guy. Like, it came up on a Volkswagen page, of course, you know, because Volkswagen guys. And he went and checked it out. And as he was pulling in the, like, mutual meeting place or public meeting place with the guy, somebody pulled up and was trying to buy the car. Didn't even know it was for sale. And the guy that we bought it from had... message has been blown up, so I know I'm not going to get hurt at 20 grand. If you think 20 grand is insane, then you clearly don't know the market on Camaros. So David Freiberger just dinged up a 68 Camaro, 6-cylinder. I believe it's an automatic car. It's pretty nice, but it's been repainted, and there's probably some sins hidden underneath. And stock wheels, obviously, you know, no LS, no whatever related to that B&M ratchet shifter awesomeness, no power steering. He paid 15 grand for that car. Body it wise, it's probably nicer than mine. Interior, it's probably worse, but both of our cars need everything. And then this car, like I said, has already been upgraded with power steering. It came with the disc brakes, the exhausts, the LS, the overdrive, the stuff related to that, LS swap. And plus it's a 69, so it's worth more money. So I think we did really well on this thing. And like I said, these things are just good property. Muscle cars, I don't think are ever going to go down. They just resonate with pretty much everybody from the generation that had them when they were new to the current kids think they're the coolest. So I'm going to go to the post office, grab some stamps, and then what else? I got some other things on my shopping list to check out. So you hang out, watch the car, make sure nobody steals it. $73 dang for a roll of stamps. Got a free tiny sucker out of the deal though. Do you call them suckers where you're at, or is that just a Midwest thing? It's actually a Tootsie Pop brand, but gotta check the shopping list in the phone, Duff. 150 degrees, idling at 730 RPMs. Stamps. Ooh, we need some butter and some bounce sheets. We put the bounce sheets in the cars in the winter to keep the mice out of them. A lot of people say that the mice will make nests out of them. They will if you leave them in there for like 3 years, but over the winter I have pretty good luck with bounce sheets in old cars. So that's your tech tip of the day. Throw some fabric softener sheets. Bounce is clearly a trademark name. And then yeah, keeps the mices out of your car, and it smells good. Way better than the mothballs. You can recite the mothball joke to yourself because I won't say it again. Oh yeah, the other thing, stall converter. A stall converter would help the camshaft in this thing a little bit, especially with some gears. Should really have some get up and go. $2.69 for gas stuff. They're giving that stuff away. Also, there's a squeak in the steering column. Need to adjust the ignition switch in the column, the shift, the neutral safety switch in the column, and fix that squeak. And hook up the column shifter. I don't think the column shifter will work with these stupid long tube headers that hang way too low, so maybe long term some shorty headers would be a good idea. Good news is those, what, 245 tires, they ain't rubbing. Solid. Wheels and tires and stance, kids. Making Camaros great. Keeping Camaros great. All right, we got our Imperial butter and a bounce sheets. It's the mega sheets. I bought them because they got Duff's friends on them. Not a paid promotion by Bounce. Ooh, DG gave us an extra bag. I don't know what DG's business model is, but it's definitely keeping costs down by having one person running an entire store. So not only are they checking people out, they're stocking shelves. I love how they put light poles at the back of their parking lot, and these things got paint and dings and marks all over them, because apparently that's what people do, is not pay attention when they back up and run into them. 163 degrees, yeah. She runs nice and cool. That's one thing about LS's. They don't really do the heating thing. And I think this thing's just got a cam in it. Other than that, it's all stock. So you run into your O'Reilly's, Advanced, Napa, you can get plugs, wires, coils, a water pump, all that stuff off the shelf. And they go like scalded cats, allegedly. I saw Freiberger post something. Oh, he's got the Dragoneer with, you know, like a 750 rear wheel horsepower LS swapped Wagoneer that pulls the wheels. And he's like, the only thing more boring than an LS swap is the people who comment about how boring LS swaps are. And that is very true. Isn't that what hot rodding's about? You know, making stuff better. And no doubt this thing was a Power Glide car, and then it was a 327, and now a 5.3. And it just got progressively better, faster. And the people who gripe about LS swaps clearly have never done one or driven one, because I don't know how many I've got in the yard. Half dozen or so. And they're like my favorite cars to drive, because you just get in there and you hit the key and you go. Your wife, your daughter, your girlfriend, your mother-in-law could all drive it. Super mild, super reliable. They just work, and the LSs are cheap. It's the oil pans and the exhaust and the ECUs and all that stuff that's kind of expensive, and they're ugly. I'll give you that. They are ugly, and I'm not a hood open guy, so LSs and I get along great. But everyone's like, oh, there's so much wiring. Literally, if you buy a kit, I have a $90 Amazon wire harness kit we're gonna put in something one of these days. It might end up in this car, but it's like literally 4 wires. A couple of power wires, a ground wire, and a starter wire, and you're in action. It's pretty easy, especially if you're one of the guys who does the, you got to have a electric fuel pump and electric fans on something already. So you just got to add, those are already there, but if not, you got to add them, which you can run these things with a mechanical fan. You got to have a computer to run an LS, whether you got a carburetor or a power glide or not. You might as well use the stock fuel injection or some type of fuel injection in an overdrive. Stop being dumb, Dan at DD Speed Shop, and putting turbo 350s, or heaven forbid a 700 R4. Literally, take the electronic version of said 700 R4, a 4L60E, plug in the computer, and it works. You don't have to figure out how to hook your TV cable up or do stupid things. Just, if you have to have the fastest LS in the world and a carburetor does it, or a power glide, so be it. But if you got a car that you're driving on the street, put the overdrive, 4L60, 4L80, 6L80, whatever, and leave fuel injection on it. Because I don't care who you are, you're not going to tune a carburetor better than a computer can. And it's constantly changing your fuel on the fly, which you cannot do with your screwdriver in your pocket from the passenger seat or laying under the hood while your brother Steve drives you around. So if you're going to do an LS swap, overdrive and fuel injection. Which, granted, there's some instances where, hey, you're dropping it in a four-wheel drive pickup, and that pickup, you know, then it kind of complicates things, because if, say, it's already got a 4-speed manual, well, I mean, it's acceptable then, but there is no time to put a carburetor on it, unless you're just dumping copious amounts of fuel in there to go racing, maybe. I mean, because you still got to run an electric fuel pump, because there's no provisions on the LS for a mechanical fuel pump, so you got to get fuel to it somehow. So you're not gaining any less wires by putting a carburetor on your LS. So stop it, knock it off. You companies that are making carburetor adapter intakes for LSs right now are just laughing. They're like, yeah, we're getting people to spend $500 on these intakes so that they can put a carburetor on their LS. This is silliness. Stop the silliness. Yeah, we need to put some window seals or door seals in this thing. The window regulator is kind of like, I don't know if it's stripped out or it's aftermarket and it's junk, but the handle doesn't really stay on the regulator thing for the window, the transmission, the post, the stud, I don't know. The mirror's a little chalky. That's the other great thing is about these Camaros is you can literally open a catalog and buy everything. You can buy new subframes, you can buy bodies, you can buy full interior kits. You can buy it all. Some of it's junk, some of it's great and it just bolts right on. Yeah. The neighbors are out cleaning ditches with their tractor. Hopefully he's not turning at this intersection. She gets up and boogies, don't she, Duff? Yeah, I think this thing would be super fantastic with a 9-inch and some gears and a 4-link out back and a little bit of a stall converter. She'd be downright rowdy. That's kind of what I want to do with this thing. Keep it the way it is. Let it sit outside. Use it as a daily. Chin can run the mail. I can get groceries. We can take Duff to get pampered at the vet, get his nails done. And we can take it hunting. We can do all the Camaro things. We're not going to be silly and driving in the salt, and we're not going to be DD Hack Shop silly and put a plow on the front of it, you know, only because it's a subframe car, and we're not challenged, per se. Yeah, that's why I want to get the heater controls and the heater core and all that stuff up to par so that we can drive this thing in the winter and then get the window sealed up, because why not? It's like literally the same drivetrain as a 01 Chevy Tahoe, so why wouldn't we drive it in the winter? Hear that squeak? The brakes weren't good. I completely forgot that we just converted this thing to power disc brakes. I will give it that. That was a very good kit, especially for an eBay kit. The hardware was wrong, but it was just half-inch fine thread hardware, easy to find. And then I had to file down that one spindle ever so slightly so that that bearing fit. I didn't like the brake hoses, but get yourself some 70 to 81 Camaro F-body front brake hoses and ream them out ever so slightly. Real good. Yeah, no complaints. I mean, not no complaints, but minimal complaining, which is the best you can ask for here at Mortske Repair. As far as kit goes, that was one of the better ones. And like I said, I have that 67 Camaro. We'll get around to one of these days, and we should be able to just take that whole drum and backing plate, put on that car, and pretty much have brakes, front brakes anyway. Oh yeah, because we got the master cylinder too. Well, we did, so I threw it in the trash. We'll have to dig that back out, or just put a new one on. But yeah, the power steering kit he put on, great. The headers look like they fit great. This guy got lucky, bought all the right eBay stuff. And maybe that's 69 Camaros. Maybe there are just so many of them out there that these kits are actually decent. But yeah, I came around that corner, I could hear the front brakes squeaking a little bit, and that's what disc brakes do. Squeakers, right, Duff? And that's why we don't put them on the rear. I don't think they make much difference, and then it's just, seems like rear brakes in this country get full of rocks and gravel dust and all that stuff, and then they just squeak, and I don't like squeaky brakes. And we got a pile of boxes off the shelf, so brakes for another car. Well, now we got to get working on that car, because otherwise it's basically like putting those used brakes back in a box on the shelf. One day we'll get that car around the corner, and then that car will probably be for sale, because I bought that car because I needed a Camaro, and then this came up and I'm like, this is a way better Camaro. It's the right year, it's got the right drivetrain, it's got better interior. 69 had so much 1 year only stuff that was better, like the wide trackness, the quarters, the fenders, the grille, the valance, the bucket seats are different, the gauges are different, and I'm still learning. Because like I said, I'm not a Camaro guy, but 69s, they're cooler for sure. Ready, Duff? Hang on. She gets up and moves out, huh, buddy? LS swaps are good. I can't ever imagine what happened to the previous right rear tire that was on this thing.
Wonder where all that rubber went.
In case you didn't notice, inside of the wheel well or on the quarter panel, you can probably do the math, figure it out yourself. Squeaky brakes. Anybody know how to get rid of that squeak on a disc brake? Probably didn't bed them in properly. Like I said, this thing already goes real good, but I think a little power adder, a little side mount Whipple or a Pro Charger or something like that would be great uptown. Get it retuned. This thing would be insane. Well, folks, there you have it. Yeah, we didn't get this thing running because it was already running, but Duff and I finally got ourselves a 69 Camaro LS swap nonetheless. So, oh, that is my adult area, and that hurt. But anyway, you're good puppers, Duff. And you guys are good folks for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can do some more with this car. I talked about some of the things we'd like to do to it earlier, and hopefully some of that stuff can come to fruition. At a minimum, we can, you know, do the things like change the steering wheel and rewire the fans and a couple other small things that need some loving, just like you, Duff. Who needs loving? Who needs the... Not my face. Come on now. Too excited for the front seat of a Camaro. Oh, I suppose you've been in the back seat of a Camaro. That's why you're all excited. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. We appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to drag stupid, awesome 69 Camaros home from Oklahoma if it weren't for folks like you. I'm so glad we didn't get arrested on this one. It was definitely because it had tags on it and we hauled it and all that good stuff. But oh yeah, we did drive it to Able Racing and get it tuned. Shout out to those guys. If you're in the Oklahoma City area, you need something tuned. Great guys, really fun to hang out with, and they know their stuff. So yeah. All right. Again, go check out the merch, mortske.com. We got some new stuff on there. Maybe, you know, some flannels, some pry bars. We got the Do shirts in stock. We got stocking caps. We got baseball caps. We got all kinds of good stuff. And stay tuned for when we give the old whistle pig away. We're still waiting on the title from old Copart, and then we'll be able to give it away. You want out of here? All right. You got things. Oh yeah, that is a big old steamer of yours, not mine. So again, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys watching, commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing, buying merch. Without you folks, we wouldn't be able to do these fun things. So again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart and from Duff's ginormous heart and Chin and Mojo and DB and everybody around here. We can't thank you enough. And remember, it doesn't matter how you get it done, so long as you are having fun. And 69 Camaros, LS swaps, they're fun. All right, on to the next one. I can't wait for all the comments about, when are you going to work on the 67? When are you going to give that pickup away? When Copart sends me my title.